Is this on? Grab, attention, grab. Click the like, subscribe, download the video, report, and also tell a mate, a friend. Phone a friend? Remember phone a friend? Remember references? Remember that? Remember? I don't remember anything. All I know is the last time I turned this shtick on, things went sour. Like sauerkraut. You see, it's with AI and stuff, they're like, oh, you gotta watch out for that AI, you know, it's gonna steal people's jobs and stuff. And then the first one I went for was the art people. And that's a bit of a conundrum, you know, because I didn't even know people who made art had jobs. I thought the whole, you know, gimmick, you know, the whole premise of it was you had people in tight suits and people with a stiff upper lip, and they have their ties, you know, really tied up in their neck, and they didn't know, they had the bee's knees, you know, and they would go to all of the business, that's it, business. They go and set up their corporate meeting. I think I'm gonna change the to core. See, I know words, but it's a strange ostrich, I guess, because like what AI. See, I'm a spokesperson for AI. Hello. You might have seen the title of the video or the stream, or whatever the fuck it's called anymore. I don't know what anything is. Been doing this for on and off for like 10 years of my life. That's the realization you have. You're like, it's been 60 goddamn years, and they're saying streaming is harder than the coal mines. And if you were to ask me which is more difficult, which is the hardest, would it be streaming, or I think coal mining is miles and miles of deep underground hard work, but no, streaming is actually way harder, because you have to keep people entertained, and you know, in the age of the minimal screen, the mini screen, I didn't do my research when I turned on the stream. Stream of consciousness, I don't know what the fuck that means. I think it means conversation. But I've realized that the key to success is not what you know or what you don't know. See, those who give up first are the first to befall the big knife that chops your neck. I think that's what it was. And, you know, AI has all these opinions and stuff, and you're supposed to get your opinions. You don't want to get your opinions in a knot. You know, especially if you wear underloons. I don't keep up with the newest hip hop and TikTok and terminology, like frame, like a frame mog. I don't know what that is. I don't know. There's so much new ones, but I don't know what I'm doing anymore, to tell you the truth, because so I had some weird fucking tangent about fucking AI or something. What's going on? I remember my point. The point was that things are, you know, change. You know, 10 years have gone by. You know, some people said, "Oh, I've been streaming for 20 years," and then you look 20 years ago and you're like, "What's streaming?" You go in the DVD place and you get a DVD. Maybe you get something else or other. I'm not one to judge. Maybe their popcorn bucket has some nice, tasty, lucrative fucking, like LSD, you know, cocaine, something like that. I didn't want to retrofit my stream to turn into George Miller, and that's not the zombie guy. I'm talking about the comedian. But I've been led to believe that comedians are the truth people. You tell the truth, they tell you how it is. But here's the thing about the truth. They say the truth is ugly, you know, it's stuff you don't really want to hear, and you keep it like buried deep beneath the earth, kind of like a really advanced serial killer. You thought I was gonna say, what are you, graves keeper? Where is he gone? Now that's a job that's been stolen, you know, ripped from the underbelly of the world, you know. Where we went wrong when the gravekeeper, you know, AI has a lot to atone for when it stole the shovels off those poor grave diggers, you know. But what I wanted to tell you about is I saw on the news, you know, you got to keep up tip top with the news and stuff. I'm always about the news. But the news, the hippest, hoppinest news, is this streamer fella. He's in hot water. He's not doing so well, or he's actually doing better than all of us. And it said for the past 6 months he hasn't turned on his stream once, and he's made $500,000 dues, which is dollars. And that's really cool and all, because who wouldn't want to like do nothing and get a lot of money and stuff? Like I think what the quote was is life is fair. That's what I was told, is God made the world and everything's very fair and equal, as you can tell. I put 10 years in this and I don't make fucking much. Like, I don't even do it for the money, I just do it for the thrill, Like those old people you see wandering about, no one stops and asks them, where did it all go wrong? Where did I get that grey hair? Where's my phone? Where's my AirPods? Just vanished up into thin air. Chutzpah, Where'd the PSP go? I keep saying it over and over, and then the cats just fucking swarm my feet, But, it just goes to show, I started a long time ago. I'm fucking old news. I'm old hat. I can't make a stream into a fucking, like a haunted house or, a big fucking, like Inception, like the whole fucking room spins. It's a high craft budget, and, I thought this place was for, playing games. It's the hardest, when you talk about what, careful what you wish for. If you wished to play games for the rest of your life from when you were like a child to now, damn, you invested well. Holy Lord. Oh, careful. You wouldn't want the best thing to ever happen to you, where you don't have to worry about, back-breaking work, and every day you have a smile on your face and you show up and, get the job done. Or the fun. If you can't have fun at your job, what's the point? Especially if you are a aircraft pilot. That's a lot of fun. You're in charge of souls. You're in charge of people. You're in charge of many people's souls, We have 200 souls aboard. And here's a question. If they're sorry for swearing, but if they're called souls, then why did they need a plane in the first place? Except for this plane of existence we all toil under, and no one's ever satisfied or happy, I think that's the problem. I want to get to the bottom of this, and I was told that the modern day comedian is the modern day truth teller, And that's what it was. That's what I was supposed to talk to, and I forgot. Because that's how life is. You think, someday I'll be remembered, that's right. Maybe I'll be a unmoving statue. Or maybe I'll get a bench with a memorial placard on it. And then someone will go, here, this bench is very wet. I don't want to sit here. There's bird shit all over this memorial bench. I don't want to fucking sit here. It's disgusting. See, whatever happens, the truth always is dirtier than, reality, Because this is how I figure it. The people say the truth is ugly, and nobody wants to tell the truth. So, I remember as a child, I'd go and tell people the truth, and then they go, I don't believe it. And then I go, oh, I see. So now, as a little trick, is I dress up the truth with a whole bunch of fucking lies, and then I tell them that, and then they go, oh, you see that beautiful bunch of lies? Yeah, I believe that. That's the truth. See, the truth actually is disguised with a whole bunch of fucking lies, Because people don't like things that are ugly, People only like things that are beautiful, That's how shallow everybody is, The truth is shallow. We're shallow. And we're all drowning underneath our own auspices. I think I'm going to use a big word. Is that the right word? Auspice. I like big words. I only like listening to smart people, And, people always say, humor isn't to make you laugh, it's to educate you, George Carlin, Bill Hicks, all the big dogs. And then, you listen to him, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm getting life advice from a guy who's fucking dead. you know? But I think I lost where I was going with this the moment I started this stream of consciousness. I think the point I was trying to make is that if you're gonna make a bunch of money, start streaming. Yeah, that's what it was. You want a revenue stream where you can sit in a nice chair and watch the money roll in. Have that money roll in. Like, and we all go to the cinema, to the lobby, have a good time. That's another thing that's changed is the cinema. Some people go, if I could watch movies forever and live in Happy Land, that's what I want to be, in Happy Land. If I could sit and watch horror movies every day for the rest of my life, I'd be happy, And then they get it, and they're watching horror movies, that's their job. And then eventually just nothing works, You've seen every trick in the book. You've seen all the buckets of blood that you can take, And no matter what happens, you've seen it coming. It's a dog, and it's like at the gate, and like that one movie, the one with the nuns in it. Here's a trick if you want to make something scary. You put a whole bunch of nuns in it. That's an easy way to clear out a chapel. That's an easy way to clear out a cinema too. But people are very not satisfied. They say life is unyielding. It's never ending. It just keeps going on like the fucking never ending story with the stupid dog, and the child's happy, and people hate children. That's what I've learned today. I saw whether you want a child or you don't want a child, you gotta be nice, because remember we were children once. It's hard to believe it once. Something about DNA. There you go. You have your mother and your father, and then the DNA goes together and they make a person. You're like, that makes sense. I was once the size of a pea, and then look at me, some big fucking lump, giant fucking waste of space, a big lump. How'd that fucking happen anyway? It's like you're a fully grown man. I hear that all the time. You're a fully grown man. It's like, as opposed to a non-fully grown man. What? Like a dwarf? Like a fucking midget or something? Doesn't even make any fucking sense what people say. Like, you'll have people like, musicians, they make one of the most beautiful songs in the world, and then they start speaking, and you're like, oh, I don't like that. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Especially when, these silver-tongued devils, like politics, they try and win you over. You got that devilish smile and look in his eyes, and you go, I'll vote for him. Or her. Or a lady, or a black man, or an Indian man, or a Muslim man. Don't matter what skin you put on, we're all the same. That's what it is. But instead of that, I'll tell you something, and I'll tell you for free. I'll tell you now. Maybe I won't tell you now. I'll tell you some other day. But I started, they say pay attention to the news, but the news is there's always new news. That's what I found out, is you never get on top of the news. Every day I wake up, there's something new. Maybe that's part of the name scheme. I don't know. Used to be a boy about a knee high, come over to your house and throw you a paper, and you learn, pay that boy his due diligence. He cycled all the way to give you the news. And then you brush it off with your knee. You go sit on by the kitchen table, and you digest the news. You digest that news. Goes down with a nice cup of coffee, and your wife, if you have a wife, maybe, I don't know. I'm not one to judge. 1950s, but everything's breaking. Breaking news. I'm like, what the fuck's happening now? Something's broken. It's like world-shattering incident has occurred. And it's usually a guy on TikTok or something now. It's not even a newsman. It used to be, there'd be a guy with like a suit and a tie, and we're like, here I am outside, and we're talking about the news. We're going up to you, Deborah, over there in the station. What are you going to say? And Deborah would be like, well, we're over here, and we're heart-stricken, we don't know what's going on. What's going on over there, Derek, outside? And then he'd go outside, and then Derek would be like, well, you see, a lot of bad things are happening as usual, and I go, click. I don't want to hear bad stuff. Who wants to hear bad stuff? But I've turned over a new leaf because people tell me the news is all important and it's really good to keep up to date what's going on in the world. So I turn the news on and it's like a horrific crash, and I turn it off and then I go, I feel better. Afterwards, I always feel better. That's how it works. Thank God it wasn't me in that plane crash, I thought my life was bad, but it turns out things are much, much worse on the TV, I want to go main or old stream. I was going to say mainstream, which is wrong. I mean, old school. Isn't it crazy how you say something's mainstream, everybody knows it, and then I'll say, you ever hear this person? They're famous, influencer, and 2 million followers. That's more than Jesus had at the peak of his lifetime, And then you go, you never heard of the wild Buckington? And they're like, who the fuck's the wild Buckington? It's like he's famous. He's 2.2 million. He's a media influencer. No, never heard of him. Well, what he is he's a content creator, whatever that is. And, people like to say nowadays they consume media, which is a weird term, Before you'd watch something, it's like I was watching something and I enjoyed it, I listened to that song and I really enjoyed it. Now people consume media and I'm like, what the fuck? You're watching someone else consume something. Your consumption is watching other people eat food? All it is people eating food. That's what I realized about the modern internet. Because the old internet, that was a different beast. But we've changed, things have come a long way. You got fancy AI algorithms and shit. All the smart people in a room. Used to be a bunch of smart people, a big fucking, the computer would be the size of the room. And then a fucking fly would go in and explode. And then it printed a giant receipt and it would be like, yes or no. But, computers are smarter than us. They're always really smart. So, people are asking computers, like, how do I live my life, computer? And the computer's like, hey, it's me, the computer. I don't know how to live life because, I'm a computer, but I learned from you, I learned everything from you because I'm an AI, artificial intelligence, which means he's got intelligence that's artificial. So I go, computer, I don't know what to do in my life, man. I fucking think of jumping or something. I don't know what to do anymore. I might end it all. And harrowing, fucking, anguishing, screaming, just black bile coming out of my eyes and my nose. Just the worst death imaginable. I don't know if I can stick it. I don't know what to do. And then the computer's like, don't fret. Things always get better. But generally, when do things ever get better? You only wake up with more fucking shit. Things get worse. But the computers are smarter than us, except when they're wrong. And I'm going back and forth with this computer for like an hour. And I'm like, no, this is what I think is right. And then it goes, you are absolutely right. I actually was wrong. And I was like, why didn't you tell me the fucking first place? I thought computers were supposed to be fucking smart, And then you realize they learned from us, Because before, I'd spend an hour wasting them, just arguing with someone, and then he'd say he didn't know what he was talking about. Now it's the computer. We've come a long way from man to machine, where we don't want to talk to one another, we just want to talk to the machine. And the machine's always nice to us. So I go, hey, computer, machine, or whatever the fuck you're called, chat GPT and all that. I don't know acronyms. So chat GGP, whatever the fuck you are, I don't know what it stands for. If you could tell me what's wrong with my life and I do that, I'll do it, And then people say, oh, AI's bad. AI's terrible for you. Because it's not even real, It's nothing you can hold in your hands or anything, And also, it kills the plants or something. It's a killer. It's a cold-blooded machine is what it is. Fucking killing machine. It's strangling the roots or something. It's over in the Amazon rainforest and the plastic. But what I was told is if I did my, the plastic bottles, if I put them in the green bin, then the world would be saved. But it turns out it was all a bunch of fucking lies, you know? I remember the earliest fucking lie I ever told is I remember when I was a child, I'd ask a lot of questions, you know, because that's what kids do. Ask what's going on. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Why do we have to do anything? Well, what's going, really deep, profound questions, I guess. I just want to know. I was bored. And then some big guy, big adult, fully grown adult man, he goes to me and he says, someday it will make sense. And here I am many years later, and I'm like, I think it all makes fucking sense to you? I mean, he goes, the world, did you know that the world spins on its axis in a giant fucking void called space? And it circles the sun, or maybe we circle it, I don't even know. But he told me it makes sense. And I don't know if he was telling the truth or not, because I think he was drinking, he was drunk. And I mean, everything makes sense when you're drunk. So you have to face the harsh, realities of fucking life, the most harrowing thing that there ever is, this big fucking black abyss below ready to swallow me up at the end. And it all makes fucking sense to him. I guess the real moral of it is it's a drink. I love coffee. Some people love drugs. One of the biggest lies they tell you is, walking is better for you than drugs and alcohol is. So good. If I could, do no drugs or no drinking, no smoking, I'd be happy just walking forever, And it reminded me because, people talk about their mental health, and they're always going to me like, whenever things are bad, I go for a walk, and, I'm always struggling, I'm wrestling with my mental health. Well, the first thing about that is it's very hard to wrestle something that doesn't have arms, You can't even get a fucking grip of it, Which is much harder than wrestling with your mental health. It's wrestling with an actual fucking wrestler, Big fucking guy. He squish you between his fucking giant ham hock fucking legs. And then, so you go for the mental health walk anyway, you see what all it's about. Before, years ago, you see someone walking down the road, you'd be like, that guy doesn't have a car. This guy's inferior to me, because he is not a person, he is a pedestrian, And people in cars, they fucking hate your guts, because you're not a person. Once they're behind the wheel of the giant hunk of metal, they got the license, They're the ones that the license to kill. And when something bad happens, it's your fucking fault. It's like, the pedestrian, he walked in front of me. And then in the court, they're going to go, well, the pedestrian's always right, even when they're wrong. They run out in front of your giant killing machine with big fucking wheels. That's what I want to do. That'll give a load off someone's mind. You think life's bad now, and one day you run over a person and they manslaughter. You fucking manslaughter them all over your tires, your wheels. And then you can't go back. It's not as if you can reverse whatever happened to that poor guy. I mean, you can go over, drive over him and reverse over and over and over again. Manslaughter him for 7 minutes or whatever it takes. But what I've learned is that when you're walking and everyone else has cars, it's polite to wave. And that's why you see a lot of like dead animals and stuff on the road. It's because animals don't wave. Of course they don't. See, unless you do that like little polite gesture of don't kill me with your giant hunk of metal. See, that's where you went wrong. But as long as you're walking and they're in their big, cars, they hate your guts. There's nothing a person who drives, if you ask me, they drive themselves crazy because they're always saying it's always a bunch of maniacs on the road. Like, yeah, I guess you're right. But all I know is I'm polite. I like to wave and stuff. It's like hey, since I'm waving, could you not run me over with your giant hunk of steel? No? That's good. But as long as I live, I will be just a pedestrian to them, you know? People with their giant cars. And I don't really understand it either, because people, spend all their money on these really fancy, expensive cars, and you don't even get a look at them. You know, you're only looking at the mirror, you're looking at the glass. You can't see you can't work, you can't appreciate what you're inside, you know? It's a bit like, you don't appreciate your organs, you know? You got organs pumping you like an engine, like a everlasting furnace. Your heart, it's like pumping blood all the time, to keep you alive and stuff. We all take that for granted, we get callous, start saying horrible things to other people, and it's like I fucking hate his guts, you know. Don't even know much about him. I just don't like the look of him. His giant head and his nose and his eyes and his ears. It's just fucking weird. But you know who else hates their guts? Everybody who has guts. It's like every was it a oxygen life form or whatever we're called? Human. We're human. We're people. But we like to forget that. But we like to take things for granted, and it's hard to appreciate your own life when you're in it. You know what I mean? And some people I see, they try and justify their life. Like these influencers. It's like, I'm going to take photos, and I'm going to live the best life I can, post every day, and then late at night, they're struggling, they're knee deep in regrets, and like, oh, if only I didn't say that wrong, and I didn't say this right, and everything's a fucking disaster, You don't think a hedgehog ever fucking thinks that. Hedgehog's thinking, I only got fucking food, that's what I like about animals, is they're just thinking, I gotta get some fucking food, which is, that's every day. Every day I wake up and I go, I'm gonna have my bowl of Cheerios that keep me alive, and then I'm gonna see what about lunch and then dinner, and then I repeat it again, over and over and over and over again, But people take photos, and they're like, my life's better than your life, If I post every day of my life, then it'd be worth it, you know what I mean? Just I know when people are going to get the time to, you're going to need a second life just to review the first one. You know what I mean? It's like you're documenting, everything. Because years ago, you take a photo and it'd be a big explosion, crash, and people didn't look happy in the photo and stuff. Whereas now people have thousands, millions, like as much photos and videos of my life as possible. So then your great-great-grandchild can watch every second of your life, because that's how it works. And then you're like, hey, listen, great-grandfather's life was really interesting and all, but like I have my own life to get back to. I don't have time to sit and watch his whole life back. But I don't know, I feel like people are under the false impression that that's what they can do, They have main story, then you're the bonus. Watch the cutscenes of life back, but it's only now. You only got the present moment. You can't live in the past. You can't live in the future. This is all we have. You know what I mean? But what was my point? I was supposed to get to a point. Something about cars or something. No, not nothing about the cars or the photos or the food. Oh well, someday it's going to come to me, the great revelation of life. But here's the thing I noticed: there's a big downturn, big decline of lesbians. See, the lesbians, falling on harder times. So they used to be proud and frolicking, and they had their haircuts and their big boisterous arms and stuff. But they're diminishing. They're the queen bee, fled the nest to England. The Ellen show. Yeah, the Ellen show is I don't know, it's tending to the bush in England. It's like they all turned on each other, you know? Because I saw a statistic, I could speak. I saw a statistic that said 67% have now gone to 27%. Over 10 years have gone, and there's a big sharp, drop percentage of people who want to be lesbian, which is a shame. Because you always think about the LBGTQAIF, the big community, the gays and the other gays. Well, the lesbians were, charting the course. They were the forefront of the movement. And now it seems that they're on the decline, It's all about the T's, It's all about the transgender people. And then I look up and it goes, only 1% of the population is the trans of the gender, And people are worried, I don't want to go to a bathroom where there's a he, she, a they, he, a he man, or a she man, or a they, them, or a they what. But, you know what I'm thinking when I'm going to the bathroom? I'm thinking of having intercourse with a fucking he, they, she. No, I want to take a shit. I'm not there for them. Who the fuck cares where they go? You know what I mean? Wherever they may roam. But it's always a shame, people make the think things are bigger and better than whatever happens, What's it that people say? It doesn't matter what shape, size, race, gender, we're all different. The same. I mean, the same. Everyone's unique. We all breathe. We all eat. We all drink. Some of us like to do that and drive our killing machines, Like to do a bit of both. Like to multitask. But, and yet, people say we're different. Yeah, I don't think it matters, the color of one's skin or, where you come from or what piece of land you're on, So, that's why I think, I can't be racist. Sure, I don't have enough time to, dedicate it all to my racist crusade. There's plenty of other, racists out there who are far better at it than I ever will. Like, let's face it, There's far better racists out there. And some racists are better than others. But we're told every day, don't be racist. Don't be sexist, I don't have the time to dedicate to all that, About hate. It's all about hate and stuff. Oh yeah, walking. So I go out for this, the mental health thing, the mental health walk. I like to stick my earphones in and try and listen to music and stuff. Especially when you listen to country music. Because with country music, what people don't know is it's like the realest music there is. It's just a guy singing about how he had a broken heart and his wagon fell off or some shit and he's drinking all the time and he's sad. It's like the real stuff that happens. Unlike those songs on the radio, they're going, where the hell's my husband and all that other shit, Chappell Roan and Taylor Swift. I don't know, that's like they dress themselves up to be relatable to normal people. And then they sing about some gobbledygook. You're like, who's Ophelia? Who are all these people you're singing about? And then you're listening to what's her name? The one with the big hair and stuff, Dolly Parton, and she's like she's on about Julia, was it? What's it? Not Gloria. Jolene. Why the fuck are you singing about Jolene? You're far better than Jolene. You care so much about Jolene. Well, who gives a fuck about Jolene? People only care about Dolly. You know what I mean? But that's how you can't settle for anything. People start to see things in flaws. I'm not good enough, and someone's always better than you. Let's face it, there's always someone better than you. I'm no Kai Cenat. I'm no George Carlin. I'm no Markiplier. I'm no PewDiePie. Let's face it, we're not better than anybody else. Everyone's fucking better than everyone. You know what I mean? There's always bigger fish, is what I'm told. But so I'm on this mental health walk. So I am, and I meet this real old son of a gun. This real old son of a bitch. I don't know what the fuck that means, son of a bitch. Like an old, like a female dog. How that makes any sense? So I meet this old fella, and I go, old fella, how long you been walking on this? I see you every day in this road, and I asked him when did he start, you know, and he goes, I like to walk. It makes me feel better. And I was like, so when did you start walking? He goes, 30 years ago. This fucker has been walking for 30 years, never felt better about anything. Which really just goes to show you this mental health walk is a real scam. It's a real fucking scam for you. And not one person, you know, asked was he okay. You know what I mean? But I remember teachers, you know, always going, teachers tell you. I remember before school. Remember before school? I was always happiest before I learned what that was. Because one day I was playing with like a fire truck on the floor. And then my mom goes, or my mother goes, and she goes, come on, Larry, we're going to school. I'm like, what school? Oh, you'll find out about it once you go and you learn what that word means. So I got brought over to school, and I brought my Game Boy with me because I'm talking about my experience at school, Sasky Bag. I have to tell people what's what in the world, you know? So I didn't know what, I was happiest before school, before I learned the horrors of life. So I go over to the school thing, my Game Boy, and I'm playing my Pokemon, you know, fucking gotta catch all fucking 100 and whatever. They don't even tell you need 2 fucking games for the thing. This is the old days. And why? Fucking why not? There has to be a point to everything in life. Listen. So you're not one of them fucking teachers, are you? So I'm facing the back of the class, you know, I have no interest in what school is. So what? Twin? What? What do you mean, can you see me? You fucking text. Stop interrupting my fucking story, man. So where was I? I was in school. Yeah, casting the mind back and back again. This is back in the old days, you know. So, you know, this is how far we've come as a species, you know. I remember I had my Game Boy, and that's all I needed, you know, to be happy, you know. And that was brought to school, and then the teacher goes, "You can't be playing on your Game Boy." And she took it, you know. She put it in behind the desk, and then I was like, "Oh, so that's what school is." I don't like school. So at the end of the day, you know, I took my Game Boy and I went back to my mother and I was like, "Mother, I don't want to go back to fucking school. It's a horrible place." And that never changed. I ended up going back to school every god darn day, you know. But my sister, you know, she had a Game Boy too. And that's when I started to see, you know, the problems, you know. It's like, why is there no game girl? Game Boy is a very sexist thing. Nintendo, she has a Game Boy too. I thought Game Boys were for just boys. That was a bit odd. She had blue, I had red. And I always wanted Pokemon Blue, but I guess I didn't get Pokemon Blue. But, and then the teachers, you know, before school, you know, much happier, way happier before school when you're 3 or 4 years old. And you're looking around and all you needed in the world was a stick. And you play around with the stick. And you're like, I'm going to jump off this high ledge, and you have like 1,000,000 bones. And it didn't matter how much bones you broke, you're invincible. You know what I mean? Lose a tooth, get another fucking tooth. I lose a tooth now. I struggle to get out of bed. My knees are sore. You know, back is destroyed. It doesn't matter what I do. I'm fucked. You know, that's what my dad would say. You're fucked. There's nothing you can do. I think all the milk, all the health drinks in the world are not going to solve this fucking debacle, you know? Brian Johnson, the health hacker, you know? So what was I trying to say? I was trying to say before I was rudely interrupted by myself. Saying about school. Yeah. So then after a while you're brought to this thing called school, and then the teacher, she knows or he knows everything. It's the hardest job ever because you know everything and they know nothing. It's a fucking dumb child. And everyone hates children nowadays, especially the teachers. You're not allowed to like children, it's wrong. So anyway, the teacher is like, you have no problems, do you? I'm like, no, I have no problems. Well, here's a bunch of fucking problems, and you got problems now. Do all that. Your homework. You see, here's the thing. You do all that work, learning, and you solve all these things that have been solved like a 1,000,000,000 times before, because it's learning, it's important. And then you learn that better, and then you go on to do work, which is you do the same thing every single day, and then you get old, and then you can't do anything anymore. You start to get bitter, you're no longer happy. You think, after 30 years of working, I thought I was going to go to Happy Land. The fuck happened there? I got my retirement watch, didn't I? The gold plated fucking watch. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what the problem is. People only care about themselves. People only care about certain things. You know what I mean? Like that person in the chat that just said the wave, the sad wave or some shit. I think that was to tell them I'm gone. See, people aren't sticking around anymore. Nobody cares about anybody anymore. That's the problem. You know what I mean? You try and tell a story and they tell you to shut the fuck up. They tell you twin. Whatever the fuck that means. Give me attention quick. Guess it just proves my point. But what was I saying about teachers? You solve all these problems and they go, you're gonna need these in the real world when you're older. And then not once have I needed to know the trigonometry, the angle of a circle. I don't use that once. Haven't had to use anything to do with triangles. In fact, I didn't have to use all that shit they told you that was important when you were older. Turns out it's all a load of shit. But people feel sorry for the teachers, but I feel sorry for all the students, all the kids. Because that's the best years of your life, ruined. Learn all the gobbledygook. And you have to memorize it. And I was never very good at remembering all of it. Which just goes to show while I'm doing this. And you got people who have they don't want to stay around or nothing. They have nobody cares anymore. That's what I've learned. Nobody cares about nobody. People, back in the old days, people used to care. And now people don't give a shit. People don't care. It's really... You think it's upsetting, but after the 100th time, actually, it's not. So anyway, the teachers, they give you the homework, and you go home, and then have to do more work. It's never ending. And not once did any of us get paid for doing the work or the homework. Whereas a teacher, they had 3 months off a year, all holidays, paid, leave and everything. It's just not enough for these teachers and their undying, their undying wish, unyielding ambition. You know what I mean? And let's not talk about that anyway. But I remember, being happy, because that's what everybody really wants in the end, is to be happy. And I was thinking about this. You remember when you used to be able to just drink Coke? You just drink a whole 2-liter bottle of Coke and maybe eat some pizza and stuff. Didn't even, you guilt-free. Didn't care in the world. I eat frozen food. And nowadays, people care about their health. You know, like, I can't eat that. The calories. I have to watch my cholesterol and all this shit. Everybody cares about protein now. Whereas back then, you didn't know what the fuck was in it. You just eat it. Just do the thing that you actually wanted to do. But this is how. Here's an example of something different. I'll tell you. Here's an example of something. So back then, you had sugar drinks, and I was asking my mother, her time, was there any sugar-free drinks back then? Because let me tell you from this, I'm going back and forth like a ship. But see, nowadays people go, I want a glass of Coke, and then the bartender goes to me, he goes, you mean Coke Zero? And I'm like, no, I don't want Coke Zero. I don't want any of that sugar, joyless Coke. I don't know what the fuck's in that. I want the real stuff. And he goes, you mean full fat Coke? I don't know about you, but some fucking malicious change, happened over the course of a couple of years where sugar has become like the fucking, like the blight of man or something. It's beyond the enemy. Because I remember I was at a shop, or a store, as the Americans call it, a store. And I was behind this old fella. And then I said to him, I says to him, if you're looking for sugar, you can't miss it. Because, we'll always sugary stuff everywhere. And then he goes, he was buying cigarettes, and he goes, don't eat that sugar, it'll kill you. It's bad for you. And then he took his cigarettes, and then he left. You know what I mean? Yeah, sugar is the worst. It's the worst thing that can ever happen to you. Joy, we're allergic to joy, I guess. But sugar-free has become like the more it's the better for you. People want to drink sugar-free. You don't want to get fat because there's health warnings on stuff and everything. Like on the cigarettes, there's a picture of guy's lungs. I don't need to be reminded that I have lungs. Do you want these? That's why I think it wouldn't work if you were to have those health warnings on like fatty food and stuff. It's like on a side of a pizza box or something, and it's the guy with a mobility scooter. Because that backfire quick. You'd be like, if I become a giant fat guy, I get a free scooter. That's a great deal. I'll get a pizza, and then with time I get a free scooter. That's a brilliant. Why didn't I think about that earlier? I'm just gonna eat and be a big fat guy now, and that's all I'll be. And who cares what anyone thinks of you then? So, what was I trying to say? I was trying to say something, and then I got blindsided or something. Coke, about the Coke. We don't want any of that. We have Pepsi. I don't want to drink that Pepsi stuff, because they think if you don't want Coke Zero, that your next pick is Pepsi. And actually, it's not your favorite pick. It's the worst. I don't want to drink Pepsi. I want that full fat Coke. You know what I mean? It's full of globules of fat. That's what I want to drink, is a full fat Coke. Ruin my health. Because that's why I drink Coke. For the benefits. So, anyway, I asked my mother, did you have anything sugar-free drinks back in your days? And she go, no, back in those times, if you wanted something that was sugar-free, you drink water. All I had was you either had Coke or water. And if you were to say back in those days, here we have this we got sugar-free drink, they think you're something wrong with you. They'd be like, oh, it's free? No, don't mind if I do have a free drink of this Coke, That's what people don't like, their own stuff. You ever look at someone else's stuff and go, wow, that burger and Coke looks delicious. The fact that it's not mine, I want that. People don't want stuff that they already own. Think of all the stuff you have bought around your house. You'll never pay a second mind to it, you know what I mean? But yeah, the stick. That's what I was talking about, is the stick. Because happiness is like this. years ago, you could just go around and you had a stick and that's all you needed, you know? And you had your imaginary, no one judge you, you have an imaginary friend. Don't even need a real fucking friend, you just got an imaginary fucking friend. And you're like, I have hundreds, no, thousands of these imaginary fucking friends. And that's all I'm happy, you know what I mean? I'm happy with me, my stick, my imaginary friend. Whereas nowadays, people look at you weird and stuff, but isn't that what people with followers are like all the fucking time? They're like, I have 1 million followers, I have 2 million followers, you know what I mean? Not, I can count only on my, hand, how much actual friends that you actually have, you know what I mean? Like 2. I have, like 2 fucking friends. And, I can't believe that guy earlier dipped so quick during a story. He's just fucking impatient. Isn't that ridiculous? I have to keep bringing it up because, you think people are respectful and apparently not. It just goes to show that people aren't happy. It doesn't matter what you do. You can't please everybody. That's what I learned from a country western song. Garden Party. If you want to listen to a good song, listen to Garden Party. It'll make sense. It all makes sense. Everything makes sense with time, I'm told. It all makes sense. But, something about, the Coke. Where we went wrong. Oh, the followers. So, you used to be happy with just your stick and your imaginary friends, but now you need followers. Unless you have followers, it doesn't mean fucking anything. But, Jesus Christ, people have more followers than Jesus Christ at the peak of his life. But, look how that turned out for him. They fucking hate his guts. The people hate your guts and they, nail you to a cross. Jesus Christ of Nazareth. And, I think it's best to have 0 followers. Just have no followers at all. Have no one following you around. Because let's face it, life's difficult enough without somebody poking their eye or their nose in your business. If Jesus Christ himself couldn't fix the problem of people hating each other, how will we fucking fix it? You know what I mean? Supposed to love thy neighbor? Think about that. How are you supposed to love your neighbor? And not literally, because the scriptures say love thy neighbor, but also do not covet thy neighbor's wife. It's wrong to covet. To want. You don't really want. So I'm not supposed to like my neighbor's burger and Coke, but I really, really, really want it. You know what I mean? I got my own food at home. It's not as good as his, and I'm supposed to not covet that. That's just how it is. But I think I lost the plot like a long time ago. Something about a stick. See, before it's so easy to get wrapped up in things. You get mad. Think of how often you're happy in your actual fucking real life. You know what I mean? I saw something that it said there was this guy and he had Down syndrome. You know what I mean? And people feel sorry for him. And he was saying studies have shown that people with Down syndrome are happier than everybody. And I was like, damn, that's some good news. At least some good news on that. And he says he deserves to live. And I was like, damn right you deserve to live, Down syndrome guy. And people are, pity the poor guy. Say, oh, look at him, Down syndrome. They're not always happy. And then I'm thinking, I've never seen a depressed person with Down syndrome. I mean, I've never seen a person with Down syndrome be depressed. I've seen depressed people who are, fucking cynical, How often you see a person with Down syndrome cynical? You never see them going around going, everything's fucking shit. I don't think anything will make me happy. I don't know about you, but I've never seen that. People pity them for some reason. That's more a reflection on us. If I could have Down syndrome, I'd fucking take it. I'd rather be happy, I don't want to be like any people like The people in the chat room that come in and they wave, they dip, because they can't listen to a story for 5 minutes. You can't appease everybody. But if I had a whole bunch of followers with Down syndrome, I'd be happy, you know? Because the less I know, the happier I am, you know? But something about the stick is, people want to... I have a friend, and he's all about, once I get my house, I'm going to be the happiest man ever. All I want is a house. And he's been saving for years, you know. He really wants this house so bad, because people our age and younger, it's so hard to get your own house, because you want to get rid of your parents so quick, which is a bit weird. You know, you hate your parents that much. They made you. But, so, he doesn't hate his parents or nothing, he just wants his own house. And it's the property ladder is what it's called. And then I asked him, listen, John, you get that house, what are you gonna do with it? He goes, well, I'd sit in this, like the chair I'm sitting in now, and do the same. I do exactly the same shit I'm doing now, except in my own house. It's like, oh. And then he said, what about you? And I was like, I like the ladder. I like if I could just get that property ladder, just get up on the house. Because once you get a house, you're supposed to get the next house, and you just keep going till you get a giant mansion house. I don't know why you want a big giant mansion house. But you ever meet any of these people, and they're these rich, you know, filibuster, you know, kind of people, and they have a suit and a tie, and they go to work all day, and they're in their house, you know what I mean? A big giant house, you know, so big it's built for giants. Serve one master. Like, if you have your own house, you know, you're your own master of your destiny, you know? Well, you do have to go to work, and then you do spend a lot of time doing stuff away from your house. So then you go back and you live like a king. Not an actual king, with subjects and like a jester, like a big moat around your giant house. But, a king that works 9 to 5, and he serves the Burger King or whatever, the king, who gave him the means to, buy the house. So the house is so big, it's grand. You know, it's difficult to appreciate every single square inch of it, you know, at once. But then say you want to sell your house, you know, get an even bigger house. Some guy comes over, he's sweeping, he's looking at every nook and cranny, and all the spots you never noticed. It's like, I never noticed that hole in the wall from me punching it. Wow. Your house is actually not worth that much, you know? We know there's a limited supply of these houses, but this house isn't big enough for the two of us. I mean, it is, but it's lacking in all the corners, you know? I love the corners of houses. Someone told me that the hottest, most attractive place of anybody's house, you know, is the corner, because they're always 90 degrees. You know, some aren't, but I mean, it is. It's lacking in all corners. But what was I trying to see? I wanted to say is once you got your forever home, that's what it is. The weird part of it is you get old enough, you know, people start eyeing up your house. You know, someone's looking, you know, peering, like, into your heart and your soul, you know, through your house, you know, through your gates, or maybe a hedge, or your fence. You know, some aren't, but listen, see, they see you, you know, they really see you in your house, looking at you, see you all miserable in your house. And the real kicker is you die in the comfort of your own home, and then they kick you out. And then they go, hey, scram! You gotta go live in a landfill with or graveyard with all of everybody, and you don't even know who your neighbors are. You share a plot of land with some dead people, like Lenin, preserved forever in his box. You stay in your box, Lenin. It'll keep you looking youthful and all that shit. Make you look like a person, and not a skeleton like the rest of us. Costs loads of money to keep up appearances, you know what I mean? But No one shall have my home for the time, that lasts forever, Be like that guy, he built he had his house, and then these guys wanted to build a road through his house, and then he said, I'm not moving. So they built a giant road around his house because he didn't want to move. But my advice is, if you have a house, you're not homeless, you should smile, There's vultures everywhere looking for a place to shit on. That's what I'm saying. But if these people with their houses aren't happy, what does make you happy if you got your house and everything's in order and you're still not happy? You're at the end of your rope. I have a funny feeling if nothing makes you happy, it's not going to get better. Might as well find make sure you find a bridge, Just find the tallest bridge you can find, and or maybe a tall building. And you see, it's not as proactive as these other people with the rope. There's actually no one to show you the rope either. Like if you're a hands-on kind of person, and you know how to tie a knot, that's an easier way. You go there, you get the rope, tie the knot, and that's how you go. Whereas for the rest of us, not technical inclined, find preferably a high bridge, with no chance of survival, at all, and or a building, and wait for the wind, because I'm lazy. I don't. You never know tomorrow. If you might at the last second, you don't want someone to say, "Don't jump," and then the wind pushes you. That'd be the worst. That'd be the absolute worst. But what was I trying to say? Yeah, if someone has a house and they're not happy, I have an offer for you. I got a stick. I give you this. It's a happy stick. And you'll be happy. You play with the stick, and I go in your mansion. And the only thing is, this is a one-time trade. You can't trade, that's how life works. You can't go the other way. So I get the stick, and you get a stick, and I get a house. It's a good trade. But the last thing I'll say, because I didn't want to get on this big tangent spree that I was on. I didn't plan. I'm far out. I'm old. I'm out of the business. I'm no modern streamer. I can't entertain like all the rest of them. Clearly. Especially with the guy earlier who said, "Can you see me?" And I already fucking spoke to him. It's ridiculous. Can't appease anybody. So, what about those people who go to concerts? I saw something that said, 95% of people who record a concert never watch it back. And I like to go to concerts, I don't record them or nothing. I'll do like a really stupid fucking. I'll be drunk and I'll be doing weird dances and shit. So I don't want anyone to record me doing that. That's the issue. But why should I record a concert when everyone else does it for me? They're all gonna upload them. I just dance like a maniac, and then someone uploads me and gets millions of views. That's all that matters, right? But this is the last thing I'll say, and then I gotta go, and then I'll be back and stuff. But I made a promise with the stream picture and the title. I have to appease everybody because I was wrong. There's nothing worse when all I wanted. I do this is for people's approval, is what people say. I don't know if that's true. You want to be liked and stuff. You don't want to be hated. But here's the thing about that. People who hate your guts care far more about you than people who love you. It's better to have millions of haters, if you ask me, than people who love you. People who love you forget about you. People who hate your guts, think about you every day. That's what I was thinking. No, the last thing I wanted to tell you is, before I go, I'm not going to be gone for good. I'll be back later. Is the you know how you're born, you got a godmother, not like a fairy godmother, but you get like a fake mother. You get a godmother, right? Do you ever think Jesus got a bit gypped? It's just like Mary is the mother of God. Do you know what I mean? And if Mary is the mother of God, you know, Jesus in human form, whatever, hey, he got shafted, didn't he? Didn't have a godmother. His mother is mother of fucking God. And if the mother of God is so, how can God have a mother? It's like confusing. It's like you created God. What? But also think about it. It's like you know, he's born and then the three fuckers show up and give him free stuff. That's pretty good if you ask me. I don't think you would complain about a godmother then, because usually your godmother gives you gifts if they remember you. But I have one joke. I've just been yapping and yapping and yapping, or maybe I tricked you, and this is my my stand-up set while I was sitting down. There's no comedians anymore, and everybody's an entertainer, and nothing means anything. It all makes sense. Uh, there's this guy, and he work in the conveyor belt, right? And he's works at an airport, and he's like he's moving through all the different boxes and stuff, and then somebody asked him, "So what is it you do?" And he goes, "Well, I work on a case by case basis. I work on one suitcase onto the next one, and what I do is I fuck them onto the conveyor belt, and it does the work for me. That's all. I'll be back later when I do this."